Please don't copyright strike me, Disney. I'm actually trying to praise you this time. Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net and shareholder of the Walt Disney Company. Now, I've been very critical about the Walt Disney Company on this channel, especially in recent months. There's a lot of things about the company I do not like. I think they become too big. I think they need to be broken up. Something needs to happen. And I was approached with this Disney Plus service with a healthy bit of skepticism. I don't like the furthering death knell of physical media. I think there's some dangers in making a kid-friendly app that, kids already spend way too much time in front of their phones. Why do this and just give them unlimited access to everything they want? And probably the most concerning thing, I talked several months ago about this story, where Disney was accused of whitewashing its troubled past for omitting racially insensitive classics from streaming service. And that's where they were promising, well, first of all, this thing is never going to actually be on the service, but they were also going to edit these crows out. And they were also considering editing like Lady and the Tramp and the Jungle Book, like literally taking a digital paint brush and maybe a pair of scissors and editing them. And so, hey, these things never existed. And I have huge problems with that as a film historian fan. And was very critical of Disney. I had already paid for 3 years up front, so I guess I was stuck. But I made it clear that if this actually went forward and if it stuck, I would not be keeping my Disney Plus subscription after those 3 years. So they had a lot of time to reverse track. Well, I was pleasantly surprised to find out yesterday during a live stream of the service on my other channel was that Disney actually was warning customers about outdated cultural depictions, and instead of censoring movies, they were leaving them intact. In fact, dare I say it, many of the Disney animated movies are more uncut on their streaming service than they are on disc, which that kind of pisses me off, to be honest, but, well, we'll get to that in a moment. So anyway, here's what Fox has to say. Disney has added disclaimers warning viewers of outdated cultural depictions in some of its animated classic films that may contain offensive stereotypes based on today's standards. At first reported by Mashable, films like Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, The Jungle Book, and The Aristocats have an additional phrase within their plot descriptions that reads, "This program is presented as originally created. It may contain outdated cultural depictions." Dumbo feature, well, anyway, we know it's in there. So anyway, I was checking out the Disney Plus service, and I had to admit it was pretty impressive. The movie starts, and if there's something that might be a little problematic, in the corner where the rating is, it will say G, but underneath it will, for example, if you open Pinocchio, it will say contains tobacco and alcoholic references or consumption. So that is a marked improvement. As long as they are not cutting film, that is important. I am so happy Disney did this. They did not do what they normally do. They actually went the Warner Brothers route, and they are warning people that, hey, these movies are old, and we thought and felt differently back then. And we wouldn't make it this way today, but it was made that way back then, so what can you do? Now, there is an interesting question because, you have this article on The Verge. Disney Plus warns viewers about past racism, but not as well as Warner Brothers, with Disney's 1941 Dumbo as a prime example. So, what this article says is some of Disney's older movies on streaming on Disney Plus will include disclaimers about the cultural context of certain scenes that are considered outright racist and prejudiced today. The disclaimer on certain titles is found within the description box and reads, "This program is presented as originally created. It may contain outdated cultural depictions." One popular example floating around Twitter is Disney's 1941 animated feature film, Dumbo. An infamous scene at the end of the movie finds a group of crows singing about seeing an elephant fly. The scene relies on a series of racial stereotypes to get through the song, including naming the lead character Jim Crow, a mocking term used to insult black men. The scene is still in the version streaming on Disney Plus. Still, there's no disclaimer within the actual video window. And Josh Spiegel, who was a writer, critic, and Disney expert, said, "It's encouraging to see Disney acknowledge the darker elements of its past film and TV content, but this disclaimer is also the bare minimum. Frankly, a lot of Disney Plus subscribers might not even notice the disclaimer, instead just clicking play on title. So here's what one Twitter said. Hate to nitpick a sensitivity warning, but Disney Pluses feel so brief and kind of dismissive by calling it outdated cultural depictions versus Warner Brothers actually calling it racial prejudice. So by the way, let's go to this Twitter account and kind of look at the differences. And I kind of agree to a certain extent with this person. Maybe they can be, I don't like how people are being overly sensitive, but you know what? I am okay with a warning. So here's what it says on Disney Plus. Meet Dumbo. Mrs. Jumbo's sweet little baby mind charms all the way. And then the bottom says contains tobacco depictions. This program is presented. I see it's cropped off there. I'm sorry. As originally created, it may contain outdated cultural depictions. In fact, if we go to the Disney Plus website, let's just search for Dumbo. Hopefully, you can see all of that, and hopefully the site doesn't crash. So here's where it says it. Right here, this inspirational tale of the courageous baby elephant who, with the hand of clever friend Timothy Q. Mouse, uses his sensational ears to soar to fame. This program is presented as originally created. It may contain outdated cultural depictions. When you go to details, yeah, there it is. But that's if you happen to notice this. If you happen to notice this, then this is fine. By the way, it's still rated G, which is, funny considering what we're talking about. So I kind of agree. Now, how does Warner Brothers deal with this? And I know this is probably going to be cropped a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So I'll read the whole thing. I know it's cropped. I'm sorry. The cartoons you are about to see are products of their time. They may depict some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that were commonplace in American society. These depictions were wrong then and are wrong today. While these cartoons do not represent today's society, they are being presented as they were originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. By the way, on the Warner Brothers DVDs, this is shown before the DVD actually starts. Also, so Disney might want to be taking a description like this, and they don't have to word it exactly like this. They can honestly keep the current description they have. I don't care. And they might want to start putting them before the movie starts. It'll be just an extra 5 seconds. And with particularly problematic material, you might even want to call like Leonard Maltin, Whoopi Goldberg, maybe some Disney historians, Ben Mankiewicz, he's a good one, to come in and explain the cultural significance of the movie, why some of these depictions exist, why they were wrong then, why they're wrong today, but why we are preserving them. There is obviously more Disney could do, because here's the thing, I am glad that they're not censoring the movies. I don't want to get to the point where so many people are not noticing this. In fact, I'm going to play this for just a second just to show what happens when you play the movie, because some of you might say, well, maybe it plays when the movie starts, so hopefully Disney won't copyright strike me for this. Again, this is just an example. It's fair use. If the content even loads, because I know the site's been having difficulties these last couple days, and it's just not working. So, okay, I guess we can't show you that at all. But trust me when I say, when you start it, at least at the time of this recording, nothing shows up, really, except a little description in the upper corner next to the rating. I don't think that's going to be good enough, and I don't want to get to the point where Disney is starting to censor their movies. So I think they should put a disclaimer like this one, before the movie begins, and in some cases, maybe an unskippable Leonard Maltin intro or Whoopi Goldberg, someone to contextualize this. Otherwise, I have to say I am pretty darn happy with that Disney actually came to this compromise and they didn't start touching these works of art. And again, many of these things are actually more uncensored on Disney Plus than they are on disc. I actually went to Melody Time, and Pecos Bill is smoking in the Disney Plus streaming service, which is like, my goodness, he's not smoking on my disc. Do I even have that one on Blu-ray? I don't think that one was released on Blu-ray, so I don't think I have that one. So Shoot, I don't even have that on Blu-ray. And let's see here. Dumbo's uncut, and Saludos Amigos is uncut. The only movie that still has some censorship, but has the warning, ironically, is Fantasia. The Black Centaurs, or, you know, those mermaid, those horse human people. I think they're called centaurs. They are still not in the movie. However, I'm wondering at this point if that is a case of deliberate censorship, or if maybe those elements just don't exist anymore. Maybe the original elements, because it has been censored for so long, just don't exist anymore, and it's not like Disney's going to go out of their way to try to restore that movie. So we're probably just going to have to live with that one. And obviously, I think the Aladdin line, the original line, still remains changed. But overall, this is a huge improvement, a great 180. Thank you, Disney, for not ruining your art. And I've been enjoying Disney Plus a lot. So, you know, I definitely recommend it. Still keeping my discs, because you took out that Toy Story 2 joke without telling anyone, so I don't trust you to never touch these again. So I'm going to keep the ones that I have, but hey, it's a good service. But anyway, what do all of you folks think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like what they did? Do you think this is a good compromise? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you really enjoy my content, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. As always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.